Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is, let's see if I remember my name. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3 Live. It feels like Thursday and it's only Tuesday. Maybe that's because last night I was out late for my birthday promoting a charity event, playing cornhole and beer pong and having some fun. And then waking up to today to some volatility. At least we were on the right side of it. Imagine being out till late in the morning and then seeing this, waking up at 4:45 and having the market against you. That would definitely make the day a little tougher. But anyway, came in, this morning net short, so it was, a little easier for me because to me it felt like the short-term technicals were bearish. I still think that, but I actually covered my short in the spiders, and I actually went a little net long, into tomorrow. Very small because I have the holiday. I just think that for some reason my red dog senses are saying we could be up a little bit tomorrow. China might be up a little bit tomorrow. But anyway, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about the charts, and you could interpret it the way you want to as well. You look here at the spiders. We all know that way back when in a land far, far away, we broke this 204 level. And that was after it got very, very tight, and you could have gotten out of the way when all these moving averages curled down and we resolved lower. And then we had that August 24th low, which is right here. And then going into the Fed, we had this nice little push, right? Uh-oh. I don't want my e-signal getting all acty on me. Nice little tight wedge. You had a 1 day up, another day up, and then on Fed day, I had a little topping tail. So this nice little 3 day long, if you do trade actively, 3 days in a row could be good money for you. And if you're against the 3 days in a row, if you were short, you might not even be able to hold in for that. But anyway, you had your topping tail, and then this is where we are now. So with that being said, still kind of in no man's land. You had your squeeze the envelope, maybe get some uncommitted shorts out here, maybe even get some chasers in, and then from there, we've pulled off a decent amount. Okay, we are. What do we do? Today we held above, this other confluence, which is right around here. Nothing so constructive where I think that you have to run and all of a sudden get involved in things. You can almost go like this now, take this out of the way. Let's see if I can do delete. Oh, look, I'm learning. And you almost get another channel here. So the question is, does it hold the lower end of the channel for a little bit and maybe bounce up into the holiday? I kind of think, but it's just a gut, that we come back up and perhaps, fill the gap here, get up into like 195-ish or so, 195.30. And then if the bears want to have control, that's where they reject price. And then we see what's next. Or, we'll see what happens with overseas. The DAX has been down 9% this week, so I'm thinking maybe it bounces a little bit. Maybe the ASHR, that is the Shanghai, you look here, gives you a little bit of a push through here. You have their premier in town. Maybe they don't want to look so bad, so we'll see if this bear-looking flag, which it's been, does resolve a different way, maybe a little bit to the upside to fill this gap. I did buy some ASHR calls just to have a little bit for Friday because I just have a feeling, we might, push through here and get to 34, 35, even if we're going to head lower. And if we happen to be down huge because of China tomorrow, my risk is premium paid. But we'll see. I think I bought the 32s for Friday for like $1.10. Just have a little risk on because I was just thinking about it. Every time, I think about something and I don't do it, I kind of, get a little upset more when it works out versus if I'm a little involved and it doesn't work out. At least, I go with it. But again, this is somewhat of a guess. There's not much probabilities here. But as a trader, you develop a feel, and I've been doing this since 1998. So, sometimes it's like a little, sometimes it's right. So anyway, with that said, let's get back to our markets. Markets did come somewhat off the lows a little bit, so maybe it does try and bounce a little bit more. If you're net short from here and you're not over trading, this is your swing position, and you say we are going to be below this pivot to test the lows at some point by October, and you're not trading, then you just sit tight. If you trade day by day, this and that, and you're trying to be a little bit more of a surgeon, maybe you covered into today and you can get better prices, because I think some guys that thought they could cheat here, might have gotten squeezed out all the way into that push. So all in all, though, we're still in a tape that's probably going to be volatile for the next week or two. We have earnings like 2-3 weeks away. You have the buyback suspended for a little while. You have the Jewish holiday tomorrow. So, things could be, pushed around. The bios had some downside follow through for those that got short yesterday on this ascending channel break. okay, you got paid overnight. And that's what you want to do as a trader. You want to get follow through, whether it's upside or downside. Well, here was your big break, okay, which probably took all these, trapped all these longs, and if you wanted to be short overnight, you got paid. And we talked a little bit about how you had some support around 331, pushed a little bit below, and then here was your 324. And the market's kind of treating these things as zones because the computers will know every stop is right here. So like, oh, we took out all the 331 stops, but let's not get it to 324 where the next level is. Let's get it in between. And then if you were waiting for that to cover or waiting for that to buy, you might have missed it. And then who knows? We'll see what happens tomorrow. I know Hillary does speak in a little bit. And we'll see, if it rallies a little bit off that. It is from here to here, big range. It might try and bounce up a little bit. If you covered your shorts here, chances are if you want to reshort, the bears should come in somewhere in here and reject price in this zone. So I don't even know if it's worth playing a bounce, but if you think we bounce a little bit, that's probably the spot we can get to. At 347 would be a spot that, sellers come to reject price. Qs, what did you do today? Off the lows. Here too, you had your topping tail into that resistance, okay, and then since then came off. We are now below a bit of this, rising wedge. So we'll see how long it stays on the right side of that rising wedge. The longer it stays on that, the more bearish it gets. If it pops back above it, then maybe it's not as significant. At this point, all we have is a new point of reference, and that new point of reference is 103.13. And again, we're not really in any compelling zones. You still have bigger support here, another support here, and then the August lows, which you can't rule out, but I think way too many people are saying we have to see it. So sometimes it's a little harder to get there. We said this morning, look what high beta does. See if some upper levels break. Maybe you can get a cute short, and maybe you just have to get out of the way. I know some guys were trading Amazon and made a little bit of money from the short side when it broke below this what's it called? The prior low here. But came off that, didn't give you much. Remember in my note, talked about 349.59, breaks that, get out of the way, maybe get short. Well, it went as low as 532. Sorry, this was 539. So, gave you like $4 in between. But all in all, held the 8-day. Could still even hold the 21-day and be okay. This has been best in breed. Broke above this pivot and hasn't really pulled back much. Google trying to hang around, not as strong. It did, what did it do today? There's really not too much to hang your hat on there. It did hold, let me get my little line here, this support, and it's still being controlled by, this downtrend. But, I would just avoid this stock for a little while because I don't think many people are having success with it. Netflix, closed on the lows yesterday, gave you some downside follow through today. Still controlled by this downtrend. We did get a little trade here with this red dog reversal, but I took it there. And then here tried to prove if it could hold higher, and it couldn't. Now I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's kind of in no man's land, still bearish below the moving averages. Tesla, what'd you do today? Tesla, oh wow, look, Tesla held in much better than some other things. Here was the break of that little level that we talked about for a long, and it's still holding above it. Take this little doji day out of the question, and it's still showing some leadership. Maybe because they didn't, lie about their emissions and put it in 11 million vehicles. What a crazy story. That's a big story. I think 1 out of every 7 workers in Europe are employed by an automaker. So that's why the DAX was down almost 4%. And the guy basically committed fraud and lied at Volkswagen. It's not like a rinky-dink company, whatever. But anyway, so that's that, And as far as the banks, Goldman Sachs, my thoughts go out to him and his family. He had diagnosed with lymphoma. I've done a lot of work with lymphoma, actually, because of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society when my friend passed away, but I'm not going to get into that. Goldman did sell down a little bit, still in this lower bear channel. It seems as if it's one of the ones that can come down and test the lows first, below every moving average. This has been in a bearish trend for a while now. We've talked about it many times. The banks are not healthy when Goldman Sachs leads it lower. Here's when this uptrend broke. Remember when it was above the 8 and 21-day? Well, it broke there, retested here, and then pow, below the 200-day. So banks are still not looking so great. Even when they thought rates would rise, going into Thursday, it still wasn't anything so compelling looking. JP Morgan also not that compelling looking. it did hold the bottom end of the range. So, sometimes, a day in the market gets us closer to a better trade. I don't think today was that day. Hopefully you made some money. It's just a day to make cash flow. If you came in short today, you made money. If you didn't come in short today and you pressed today, you probably lost money short today. It was even that hard to try and buy versus lows. So, unless you were in the last 40 minutes, which if you were on the VTF, you saw that we did sense that maybe a lift would happen, and I think some of us did get long right around here. If you look at the spiders, look at the 5 minute. Okay, let me show you what you could have seen, because I was talking about the igniting bar on a 5 minute. So that's what you look for to see if something cute could happen. So let's go to the 5 minute. That's the weekly. Here is the 5 minute. Okay, right here, okay, was basically when did we talk about it? I think it was right around here, but that still didn't look so great. So, basically, you couldn't really have seen too much here. If you want to, it looked a little bit more apparent when we were trading it. I think it was this, okay, that we kind of saw, came up to here, and then saw resistance and failed, came in, held a little bit higher, and then right when it crossed above this is when some of us said, let's get long for a cute long. And I did get long the spiders around 193.50-ish, sold some around 194-ish, and then it pulled in to here, and we started buying some back, and I did take some overnight long. So that's the beauty of being on the VTF. You get to really see what's happening. On Twitter, you could see some of my levels and some of my thoughts, especially pre-market. I put them all out there, and then I put a hell of a lot more than that in my big note with 25 names. And then if you remember the note, and you're also on the VTF, you can see what I execute on some of the strategies from the note. I don't execute on all of them because I wear lots of different hats. So lots of ways to connect the dots. The morning call too, lately, because Brittany's been out because she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. It's been a lot of myself. But I go over a lot of the ideas that I also talk about and go over in the note. But on the note, it's on paper, and you can see my positions on the disclosures. There's so many things that if you're not having success with, that you could use your resources for. A lot of it's free, and some of it's pay for, and it's really not that much. I think my note is $200 for the year, maybe $300 for the year. That's the year. That's not the month. And you get 2 hours of my time put on a piece of paper every single day with 20 ideas that could probably make you, if you choose 1 or 2 of them that work out, the money back the day of for the year. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm not here to promote my note. I'm just talking out loud, and I'm jabbering a little bit. So anyway, this was that, moving the spiders. And now we'll see what's next. Let's see what else had like a little igniting bar that you could have seen. Let's see, yeah, Facebook. So if you do trade on the 5 minute, this was actually, you could see it clearer. Here was your igniting bar, in Facebook, and that happened right around 3 o'clock. Came in, didn't take out really this area, pushed in a little bit, and at least it could have put you on alert to see if whether or not there would be another trade there. Let me make this a little bigger. So Facebook right here was, here is your, this actually was a little bit of a wake-up call, kind of failed. A bigger wake-up call, and then came in, held in pretty well, and then you could have seen, almost 50, 60 cents above it, which for the end of the day trade is could be part of your daily bread, so to speak, and monthly P&L. And that's how you see it, though. Igniting bar, pulled in, held higher, and then went again. And here was your first little one that failed. Or not even fell, just didn't make a new low. So anyway, right around that 230, 330 time period, sometimes you get this, and that gives you some clues on how things might close. So you could either cover your shorts and short higher, or look for a cute long and sell on the close, or look for a cute long and see if there's any kind of continuation into the next day. You look at, here, actually, let's go back to this chart, because I made some money short here this morning in the VTF. I figured today was a down day. Facebook's been so strong, up like 12 days in a row, or maybe even more. I was like, maybe we get a cute short. And here was your first move down. It tried to go in the gap, and for the first time in multiple days, it could not fill this gap, which showed me that it was weak. And shorted a little bit in here, and then added when it took out the lows in the morning. So this is your H sell setup. Down, up, create your little H, sell some into some strength, and then you add when it breaks the lows. So that's not your first price there, just in case it doesn't happen the first time. If anybody added here, you might have gotten squeezed out, but not if you put the highs at, the stop at the high of the day. But if you got short in here and added there, you had a great average price, and you could have covered into that move lower. And that's how you get a gap down, sell a little strength, especially when it doesn't fill the gap, starts to roll down, add when it breaks through the low. I remember that 93.70, and then you cover some on the way down, depending on where you want to go. I think I covered mine, all the way into this 93 and a little bit below. I don't remember exactly, but I did make some money short this. So that was your short setup in the first morning, and then here was your little bit of igniting move for a long setup. And that's just kind of, day trading bar by bar analysis. You could probably get better bar by bar analysis from Dave Green or Robin the Black or BP who's in there with his fibs. I just kind of do it with a cocktail napkin approach and just go off the cuff here. It's not, I'm not in a training class. I'm just showing you what flashes at me when I'm watching all my different charts at different time frames, in the morning or in the afternoon. But I also have in the back of my head the daily charts, which I base most of my decisions on, because that's what pretty much controls the tape. You did say a little strength in the oil names. You go to oil, you go to the daily. It's not really doing a heck of a lot, but no, it's really not doing a heck of a lot, but it's trying to hang out above this 62.50, closed a little bit above it, but still bearish trend. What did oil do today? It was weak most of the day, and it still hasn't broken this area. So with everyone throwing the kitchen sink at oil, it's still hanging in there with probably more shorts than longs. So if it happens to go, that could help the market a little bit. Remember when it ignited right here, 3 days up, some commitment to it. Goldman Sachs saying 20 bucks twice during this whole time frame, and it hasn't been able to go down. So we'll see what's next. And I got to go. Got to be home before sundown. Have a big meal so I could fast tomorrow, atone for all my sins. And I do have some. I do, have some rules that I've probably broken that hopefully next year I won't. I probably could do things better. You could always do things better in life, whether it's a better dad, a better husband, or a better son, whatever it is that you think you could do better with Yom Kippur. You try and think about all the things that you did poorly and ask God for forgiveness. And the Rosh Hashanah is for the new year, and after Yom Kippur you want to be inscribed in the book of life, so you're allowed to be in the good graces for another year. So let's hope I didn't do too many bad things. I get to go to temple tonight, listen to the Kol Nidre, and tomorrow lay low. I'm not going to be tweeting tomorrow. You can't tweet on Yom Kippur. I might be able to do a few in the morning, but we'll see. And that's that. I'll be back at the morning call on Thursday morning. I wish you guys the best of luck. At this point, you can't rule out a retest of the lows, but we did just come in a lot from that topping tail on Thursday. So tomorrow might be a bit of a choppy day with a lot of people out for the holiday, thin. So either do less or just make sure you know where your pricing is and you know what's cooking. And with that, I think I smell something cooking at home. I got to run for and get some food before the sun goes down. Have a great night.